communist on the faculty. Of one university is one communist too many.
The 1950s were a time in which the country lived in fear. McCarthyist sentiment swept the nation with the Red Scare. Joseph McCarthy's wild accusations and fear-mongering created a climate of fear and suspicion across the country. However, few people are aware of the vicious witch hunt, which also took place in the 50s, of homosexuals in the government called the Lavender Scare. It began in 1948 when Perfecto Martinez was charged with and convicted for appearing in public dressed in female clothing and is confined as a sexual psychopath. In 1953, President Eisenhower effectively bans LGBT people from the government. This Executive Order 10450 was used until the 70s to fire gay government workers. The fear and stigma around sexuality grew along with the propaganda. Safety and cautionary videos like this one were produced to protect vulnerable children from sexual deviance. Such homophobic propaganda insisted that homosexuality was a form of mental illness and must be treated.
What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex.
What is known as the Lavender Scare began in 1947 and continued until an estimated 10,000 gay government employees had either been fired or had resigned. This fear that gay people were a threat to national security had infiltrated the government and needed to be removed, permeated Cold War political culture. The people leading the crusade explained that gays were more susceptible to blackmail by the communists due to their sexuality. When queer workers were uncovered, officers demanded names of others. Many investigators blackmailed gay people into quietly resigning, an easier choice than to, instead, come out to their friends and families and face the deep-rooted homophobia that existed throughout society.
We have your friend in the next room. She's already told us that you're gay. You give us the names of others and we'll go easier on you.
Committee will please come to order.
Homosexuals must not be handling top-secret material. The pervert is easy prey to the blackmailer.
According to newspapers, homosexuals were described as perhaps as dangerous as the actual communists. Quotes from the newspaper read, "There is no doubt in our minds that homosexuals are security risks, and we have resolved that we are going to clean them up." In the end, the Lavender Scare had a greater effect upon people's lives than the actual Red Scare. 5,000 government employees were officially fired by the end of the Truman administration, and an estimated more than 10,000 people were forced to quietly resign or were blatantly fired. Presidents didn't stop actively searching for gays until the 70s. Executive Order 10450 wasn't repealed until 1995 by Bill Clinton and was merely replaced with the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy in the military, which was no great leap in the gay rights movement. Today, the Lavender Scare goes mostly unacknowledged because those fired were too ashamed of their sexual identity to speak out. Most chose silent injustice over facing the cruel homophobia of the time period. However, the fierce fight for equality must not be forgotten, and the rights of the members of the LGBTQ+ community must not be taken for granted.